Welcome into the show, everybody, on this Thursday afternoon, final day of the drive here on this summer week. It is right now a beautiful summer day out there. Mark Paulette, Ernie Clark, and we got a guest joining us here in the Greenway Equipment Studios to get the show underway today. Beautiful day right now, Ernie. Dial it back about 2.5 hours, and it was a monsoon outside the Greenway Equipment Studios.
So what do you want? We were supposed to get the storm of all storms, 2 nights ago?
Yep.
And we were supposed to get tornadoes and hail the size of golf balls and we got nothing. And now you're complaining about a desperately needed,
it was
quickly falling quarter-inch of rain that we got today to help the
desperately
gardens.
needed. It's round one of the Open Championship across the pond right now at Royal Birkdale in England.
The British Open.
The British Open, yes, as some folks still call it. And
that's all I know it of.
That place is baked out. It is just brown and amber. It looks like a wheat field. That's what my lawn was starting to look like around here.
There you go. And that's what everybody's lawn looked like a year ago at this time.
Yep.
Because if you remember, a year ago, it stopped raining at about June 5th.
After the 14 straight weekends.
Again. I just know I only mowed my lawn like 6 times last year and didn't need to. I think I mowed more, raking up leaves and mowing them and fertilizing the ground than I did with actual mowing. And I haven't mowed for a couple of weeks now and it hasn't hurt, but still, it's quite a bit better this year than it was last year.
I'm trying to think so we're on a little weather and mow talk to start off today's show. Yesterday, definitely wasn't sports. Couldn't tell you where we went. Day before you were in here, we might have started off a little bit baseball or home run derby, all-star game.
We started with quite a bit about the Red Sox, actually.
Yeah, we set it up a bit, but, I mean, it's a quiet time right now. You got the World Cup, you got golf. Other than that, we're waiting for the Red Sox to get back in.
The World Cup, everybody's a little bit more excited than usual, only because the tournament was held here.
Yeah.
I mean, if the U.S. was in it, obviously, we'd be all jumping on the bandwagon talking about how great the U.S. is as a soccer country, but that not being the case, the game's still pretty good. But
entertaining football. Yeah,
it's not involved. Now, I mean, people that are paying attention to it is kind of laughing at the British because the coach kind of choked the game for him by taking out all of his offensive players over the final 20 minutes, and that allowed
Argentina Leo Messi
to all of a sudden dominate the play and score twice and steal a victory from him.
Yeah, you know something? Crazed, incensed sports talk, not unique to this country. It's been a rough 24 hours in England. Listen to these couple of minutes. First, Jamie O'Hara, former professional footballer in the Premier League, he was hosting like a live watch party. He and his partner were commentating the game as it was happening. So the first part of this clip, about the first minute, is their live reaction to the goal going in and just the utter dejection. And then the last minute 20 seconds is Jamie today and his thoughts on the matter
today. Yeah, I saw some of that.
It's been a rough day for those guys across the pond. This poor co-host just trying to get a word in there, but there's some good stuff in there. I'm going to have to start using Be Brave when I'm yelling at Craig Breslow ahead of the deadline.
See, because the other thing is, when something bad like that happens over here in the States, we go nuts for
a day, a
24 hours, maybe 36. But then there's always something to move on to.
Exactly. We're immediately distracted.
There's the Red Sox, you move on to the Patriots, you move on to the Celtics, you move on to the Bruins, and start bitching about them.
Yep.
And over there, I don't know, what do they have?
Right now, they're
cricket, maybe? I don't know.
Not really. They got the golf tournament happening right now in Southport or wherever.
Is that in Scotland or is that in
England? It's in England this year. But to show you kind of where that is on the totem pole, they were going to move the start times. Had England won yesterday, and the World Cup final was played on Sunday during the 4th round of the championship. But no, right now they are angrily awaiting the start of the Premier League season in about a month's time when they can go back and start ripping on their domestic players.
Bring back memories again. So. Yeah, well, I would say this, though, just knowing a little bit about World Cup history, there have been times and places where the fallout, let's just say, has been worse than what you just heard on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Was it goalie
or
something?
Losses of lives and
killed?
Stuff. Yeah, exactly. South America.
Yeah. So I guess Argentina, the goalie, is probably happy that they won.
Yeah, Thomas Tuchel is taking some arrows, but not literal arrows at the moment, and he's probably not flying back to the British Isles, as we were saying before the show. He's heading right back to his homeland for a while, but that was the story yesterday. I mean, it has been thrilling watching Argentina go along. Now, they had kind of a yellow brick road laid out for them because FIFA and Gianni Infantino they knew they wanted Leo Messi hanging around in the Final Four, hanging around in the championship. You also wanted England at this stage of the tournament. It was also nice that France and Spain
they got
showed
exactly
up. It was,
what they wanted.
From
Top
a commercial
4 seeds
from
all,
a commercial
all made
standpoint.
Yeah,
it
indeed.
was all chalk.
And quite a bit of drama, especially on the part of the Argentinians. And that's the thing about what the coach did in terms of taking out his, a couple of midfield striker types, guys,
Parking the bus.
ball handlers, offensive players, and putting in, defenders to play rope-a-dope and hold on over the last 25 minutes. They did that against a team in Argentina that had come from behind
pretty much every time they take the pitch.
Multiple times throughout the tournament. So why wouldn't you think they'd do it again if other people did the same thing you're now going to do? And sure enough, that's what happened. I mean,
just waves of world-class attackers to throw at the English defense until they finally broke. You had Messi picking out the crosses and kind of fooling everybody with his on foot versus his off foot and just laying it perfectly onto the guys' foreheads. That's to see that team's reaction to him. It almost seems like the other players are convinced they're playing with a deity of some sort for the sport.
There's no hesitation to look exactly to the smallest guy on the field, pretty much, and say, "Here, take us home. Get him the ball and let him do things," but also put themselves in position to be able to get what they know is coming from him in terms of some sort of setup. One for a header and the other one just for the one before the tying goal was just kind of a tremendous shot and a little bit of traffic there off the pass. But yeah, he makes things happen. Now, is he eligible for the quote Golden Boot award?
Yeah, that's just whoever scores the most goals.
Okay,
in the
that
tournament.
has nothing to do with assists.
No, that's just goals.
It's close between him and the French guy, right?
Mbappe?
Yeah. Matter of fact, they may be tied.
I think so.
8 goals apiece. So he's got one more game to do something about it. Maybe his teammates will try to get that back for him.
Well, technically Mbappe does too, because the World Cup is weird that it has a third place game. We don't celebrate bronze in this country. We don't celebrate those third place things.
Now,
just like it's 1776, the French and the British going at it for third place.
We used to have a bunch of those games. We used to have them for like NCAA basketball tournament they'd play.
Really? They had a third place game?
Yeah, and I want to say there was like a third place game in the NFL at some point too. I might have been pre-Super Bowl.
Pre-Super Bowl.
Now, having heard what we heard 7-8 minutes ago, what do you suppose is going to be the reaction to the English coach stepping on the field with his team?
Yeah, I don't think you want to play that game.
It sounds like was it Kane?
Harry Kane is the striker.
And then Jude Bellingham?
He's kind of the engine, like the midfield attacker.
Anyways, there was all kinds of signs that they weren't happy with those decisions that were made at the end of the game. They just wanted to continue to play the soccer that had gotten them to a 1-0 lead, 70 minutes into a 90-minute game. And so when they all of a sudden they changed, they're not stupid.
No.
They knew what was going to happen. They knew it was, like I said, it was rope-a-dope for the end of the game, and you can't do that against skilled players that can use their feet to get open or get their teammates open. And sure enough, that's what turned them in. And so now the British have to continue. What's it been, 60 years since they won one?
60. Still not coming home.
No.
Still not coming. That's the thing. Like, Cowboy fans get a lot of grief over in this country, on this side of the pond. It's only been 30 years. England's been at it twice as long.
You kind of thought this would be the year after the Knicks finally won.
I know.
After 53 years.
All the curses getting broken out there.
No, not that one.
But that clip we heard you, if you weren't with us, go out and look it up. Jamie O'Hara. I'm gonna have to start ripping him off here as we approach the deadline.
It's pretty good.
I can't put up with any sort of Red Sox guff. Can't have any bit of Red Sox guff the rest of the way because they just don't have the benefit to slip up.
What do you mean? Half a game out of the playoffs.
He's got to be brave. Be brave. Go out there and add to this roster ahead of time. And if not, we'll just be calling for the sacking.
They got that outfielder from Detroit.
Jermaine Jones.
Yeah.
13 for 95 this year.
Batting 137.
He's going to get it done.
He'll get him over the top.
The Drive brought to you by Next Home Experience, the market leader. You can get looped and get sold with Next Home Experience. Myself, Ernie Clark, and Tim Kenney will be joining us in the next segment live in the Greenway Equipment Studios. Greenway Equipment Sales is your locally owned John Deere dealer. You can see the Smith Brothers in Bangor and Ellsworth because nothing runs like a Deere. We're also brought to you by Hero Sports Grill and Entertainment Center. Heroes is the place to be in downtown Bangor and at herosportsgrill.com. Taking a peek at the rest of the show, Tim will be joining us in the next segment. If you're looking to make some extra cash coming up this fall, he is going to tell you just how you should do that. He's got the gig to help you out and to help out some local sports around the area. We got the drive poll in this first hour. We'll check in with Chris Hatfield of SoxProspects.com to begin the drive at 5. We have Drive On coming up, your chance to win hundreds in prizes, and much more before we get to buzzer beaters in about an hour and 45 minutes. We'll take our first time out of the show. Tim Kenney joins us next on The Drive. Back here in the Greenway Equipment Studios on this sunny Thursday afternoon, sunny at least for the time being. We got a weather and a sports center coming up on the other side of this segment. The Drive brought to you by Bangor Window Shade and Drapery, offering custom blinds, shades, drapery, and outdoor awnings at 105 Main Street in Bangor. We're also brought to you by Premium Choice Broadband, local family-owned, bringing affordable high-speed internet to Maine for over a decade. Call or email and mention PCB the Ticket to get 1 free month for new residential customers. Visit PremiumChoiceBroadband.com for details. Mark Paulette, Ernie Clark here in the Greenway Equipment Studios with you, and we are joined by Tim Kenney here in the studio with us. Tim is the assigner for the Eastern Maine Football League. Tim, how's it going today?
It is going excellent. Football for me has actually started about 3 weeks ago. So
into passing leagues, are you?
In the passing leagues. As a matter of fact, they canceled the Orono one, so I don't have to run out of here and go to Orono to chase the football around with the 5-on-5 league. But
there you go.
5-on-5 league.
Yes. So this year they switched it up a little bit. 7-on-7 has been for the big schools. And the small schools like Orono, Ellsworth, Bucksport, and them, they got a little league together of 5-on-5 passing. Okay.
So, the 11-man teams play 7-on-7, and the 8-man teams play 5-on-5.
Yeah, there's no lineman involved.
That's interesting.
They have the center come and snap the ball, but other than that, they throw it all over the field for an hour.
That sounds like a real fun time.
It is.
So we are barreling down on the fall sports season here pretty quickly. We're, about a month away from two-a-days probably on the calendar when teams get out there and start practicing. And as is always the case, there's a bit of an officiating shortage. We're going to get into all kinds of stuff throughout the course of this conversation, games moving to Thursdays and Saturdays, everything you're trying to do to combat it. But Tim, we're basically going to turn the floor over to you. Ernie's got some questions, and you got some notes you want to hit on.
Just talk about, if you would, we'll just throw the numbers out there. Number of officials currently on your board, number of teams that they are responsible for covering, whether it's high school, sub-varsity, middle school, and also just to give folks a sense, a full sense for the geographic stretch of this particular region.
Sure. So right now we have there's 50 on the roster, but really there's about 45. We lost an official that cannot do it anymore. That actually I chose to do a state championship game, and I feel really bad, but he's not able to do it. So I looked at the numbers, and we're about 45. Now there's 20 schools that I assigned the varsity to. I do not know exactly, but we have youth football that is all over the area on the weekends. And that's obviously where I'll talk about that the younger officials starting will get a choice. But there's got to be 45 teams all over the place. In our location, we actually go from Nokomis High School all the way up to Valley, which is Fort Kent, and then west to east is Foxcroft to MDI. So we cover a lot of the area. Needless to say, it's not like the Portland board that I tease that have a 5-minute drive to the game.
Yeah, I was good. Now you must have to deal with Washington Academy too, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's East Machias. That's even farther than MDI. So
yes, it is.
That's quite a. And you need, in terms of the high school games, you need at least 4, but preferably 5.
So we made a league policy to have 5, just because there's no more of what I want to call the Jordan Riggins we're going to play off tackle.
Yep.
The old T16 that Bob Sinclair would jokingly say about. They throw the ball all over God's creation is what I say. There is no way without a back judge that we could cover the high school football games with 4 officials.
Okay, so you... 5 times 9 is 45.
Get to that
so
quick.
If you had 9 games... you had 10 games on a given night that you were scheduled to, or at least the region was scheduled to host, you wouldn't have enough officials.
That's correct, and that's what happened last year. We had to meet down in Augusta with the MPA and the other 3 assigners, and I had to borrow officials from as far away as Portland, and I actually had to send crews as far away down in southern Maine to Yarmouth on the weeks that we were less games. But thankfully, this year we talked with the league presidents and the MPA. I had meetings throughout March and April, and God bless them, they helped me out tremendously. This year you'll see more Thursday games. I know Brewer, Hamden, Herman, Of course, John Bapps. They'll be playing some Thursday games. And because of, we know that life's in general, I don't have 45 officials every Friday. We have a couple dads whose kids actually play on the varsity, so I know I only have them on Saturdays. So we're only going to have about 6 or 7 varsity games on Friday, and 4 out of the 8 weeks I have 4 games on Saturday. So I can have 11 games in Eastern Maine, actually 12 if you have a Thursday game. So there'll be some guys that really like football, like myself, that will be double dipping.
And you can have, as you mentioned 20 varsity teams. 20. You can, but you can. It doesn't mean you can only have 10 games in your region, because sometimes they're playing.
Correct.
Foxcroft may be playing Maranacook or something from another
that's
region.
Correct. But the way it is right now, and looking the schedule, which I just finished up this week, there are a lot of schools, and that's why you're seeing more Saturday games, because Sockabee Valley's coming up this way. There's a bunch of schools down south. Actually, Waterville is going to play Holton on a Saturday just because of the time travel. I mean, I know it's Friday night and, they don't have school the next day. But, you're talking when Sockabee Valley's got to come. I know when talking to the RAD, it was a 5.5 hour bus trip to Valley. And, of course, they don't have lights. They wouldn't do it. But there's a lot of Southern Maine and Central Maine schools now that are this year that are really coming into our area. So we kind of looked at it. And each school, to help me out, said when there's a team traveling from far, far away, they've agreed to play on Saturday.
Well, when you talk about Sockabee Valley coming up here on a Friday night, I mean, they're not getting much out of Friday at school, right? They're getting out early. So.
If they're going there at all.
Yeah. And think about Fort Ken Valley coming south. I mean...
And there'll be a few, which I'm surprised. If I looked at my schedule right, they're actually playing Washington Academy on a Friday night.
Really?
So I get a feeling that maybe after the first class, they're going to be dismissed.
Go in, take attendance, and then get on the bus.
Yeah, they are. So that's what it is. A little bit more about our program that we do. We're looking for new officials. Our average official is about 56 or 57 years old. We do not have any young blood. Maybe we're a couple guys in their 30s. I do have a gentleman that I spoke to that played at John Bapps 2 years ago, and hopefully he's going to be an official. He played for them. The coaches have actually pushed, and I think there's got to be somebody out there that still wants to give back to the game, that played that in this type of form, that would like to, still be involved in the sport. So August 20th, we start our classes at Cohen, which is at 6 o'clock, and we go every Thursday night up until the end of October. John Perry, that is a head baseball coach in Hamden and played for John Lincoln when they went to the World Series. He's their teacher. And I step in a little bit and help, and some other people, and we actually give them some youth games and teach them mechanics throughout the thing, and we just put them in when they're ready to go. We don't want anybody in the wrong atmosphere, so they're going to step back.
What's the sign-up process for that like?
So the sign-up process is they can either get a hold of me, or basically if they just show up the first night, we'll get all their information.
Okay. That's
just an informational night. There's nothing really. They'll get their books. They'll be told how much their uniforms are going to cost and what to go on. And just as soon as, probably within 3 weeks, they're going to start doing some youth games on Thursday. But they'll have a mentor there with them to help them out, obviously. And that's what we started the last couple of years is once you've passed and you come on, one of the veterans will take you under their wings and talk to you, especially in the off season, to get you going.
When you say youth games, what age group are we talking about there?
So 4th and 5th, 5th and 6th, those are all on the weekends, and they are all over the place, except probably Millinocket is as far as we go. We don't do anything up in the valley area. It's too far to travel. And then you have the junior high games on every Tuesday and Wednesday. You have the JV games on Monday, and now you're going to have varsity games Thursday, Friday,
it's
and
a
Saturday.
full week schedule, isn't it?
Yeah, so
it's like
if you want to catch some extra money, and you want to give back to the sport, which we're hoping is, please come join us, because we need you. And we were talking at the beginning of this, the 5-on-5 and the 7-on-7. It's a chance for us to get to know the kids, and they get to know us, like the formations. We just help them line up, make sure they're right. We talk to them for the whole hour, back and forth. It's not throwing flags or blowing whistles. This is about more of the camaraderie between the officials and the coaches and everything. We get everything going. So that's a great aspect. And I do have some of the people that passed last year doing those games. So
what would you say to the people that kind of complain that, and this is not football necessarily, but every sport? I think of basketball most often because that's the one that is maybe the most public of it, just because
You
it's a
hear it, yeah,
confined
you're right there.
situation. About the guff that is out there from the parents and the public.
I'm kind of a bad one to ask because this is year 45 for me doing this. So I've dealt with it. So I don't really tune it out, but I know how to approach people. So if coming off, we really don't say anything. But if I get a call or somebody asks, we ask, a lot of times I find out it's frustration that happened from someplace else, like mom and dad are hollering because something happened during the week. They're really not mad at the officials. I mean, I only have stopped a game once, and this was a youth basketball game where it was getting out of hand, and I did stop and I said, who here has a Division I scholarship? Because I really want to keep my eye on them to know that. And the gym went silent, and nobody said a word the rest of the game. It's like we need to put this in perspective.
Yeah.
Well, generally speaking, most schools in a lot of sports, they will make an announcement before the game about the need for officials.
I think every game that I've done between softball and football this year, they start out with, please be respectful of the coaches, the players. And, it isn't the players, the coaches. I mean, everybody gets excited at the moment, but for the 90% of the part of 95, they are awesome throughout the game. We love talking to them and adjusting. It's not that. It's beyond the ropes.
I got to tell you my story. I refereed basketball for 10 or 12 years, and I started out down on the Central Maine board in Waterville because I was working for the newspaper down in Waterville at the time, and most new officials, nobody knows who they are, and so they can go scream at them, hey, ref, you bum, whatever. And the problem I had, and I didn't realize it until I started doing games, was people kind of knew my name because they read me in the paper writing stories all the time. So instead of being, hey, you bum, it was Ernie, you bum. And I had to deal with that for a while. But it's, for one thing, you're so busy doing your job, you don't hear that stuff for the most part anyways. That's the way I found it. I mean, it was never an issue with me. I didn't care what they said. I was more concerned about making sure I did the right thing in terms of making the call right and doing it correctly.
Especially in football, you're away, and if you're concentrating doing your job, you're probably not going to hear unless we're having a crew conference about something. Then you might catch it. But I mean, other than that, the fans are good. It's part of the game. We go around and we talk. The coaches at preseason, and we talk. And I said, there's three prospect things of the game. You have to have the officials, you have to have the players, and you have to have the coaches. It doesn't matter what order. You miss one of those, we can't have the game. And like I said, all sports, as Ernie, we've talked about this at the tournament when I've been there, that every sport is hurting, but we're kind of at a critical time here in football because of the age. I mean, God bless Ralph Dameron. He was 80 years old doing the games. Yeah. But he knew that, was enough. And we still have, I think, Alan Lane up in the Lincoln area is still working for me. He's 80 years old. And
wow.
The funny thing about him, though, that we joke about is when it's going to rain that night, he'll call me and say, well, if you got somebody else, I'm starting to feel in my bones. And we laugh and joke about it and stuff like that. But it comes right back to we need youth. We need younger people. To do this really in all sports, but right now for football especially, because that's why I've had to separate this to 3 days now instead of I can't even do 8 games on a Friday night.
It's it's a dilemma that pretty much every sport faces. But the one thing I found doing basketball, I'd still be doing it if I didn't get back into newspapers there after a fashion. But there's a teamwork level to it too. So if you've been a competitive athlete, you're going to enjoy the camaraderie, the teamwork, and also you're going to make yourself do as best a job as you can because you're putting yourself out there as a member of a team.
Well, now you're putting yourself out there more because 20 years ago there was nobody watching the games but being there. Yep. Now you have 92.9 The Ticket that does
every game's archived the second it goes final.
That's what I mean. So that you're out there, and that's the one thing I talk to the officials on my first meeting that we have that has to be mandatory you make is, hey, we all make mistakes. Everybody's human, but don't forget if there's a problem, step in and fix it or get together as a crew because you're seen from here all over the United States by some grandmother, some aunt, some uncle. So, you got to get it right. And that kind of puts a little more pressure on. But to me, I tell them, well, it's not really pressure. It's just you get in the rule book. Let's do the best that we can.
Yeah.
This is not a full-time job. It wasn't like when I had the privilege of doing Division I football, flying up in the East Coast. That was like a part-time job. This is a chance to have fun. And Ernie, you talk about friendships. I can honestly tell you some of my best friends are from this. I mean, the drive back from Foxcroft Academy or Washington Academy, you just get to talk and joke and you have a good time. And, the relationships that I've developed really throughout a lot of the sports, but especially football, I have lifelong friends.
That's great. And it's something we should touch on, too. We're talking about the need for officials, but before we went on air here, you were saying on the athletes side of things, the game is certainly holding steady, if not growing a little bit.
So we were talking about one of the new rules that I can throw in is there's only 2 major rules right now.
Changes?
The changes there for the upcoming year is they added that the offense now cannot do a head slap to the helmet, so it's got to be a pure stiff arm, basically, on the running back. And the quarterbacks now don't have to have the playbook on their arms, so they don't have to snap it back in or whatever. They're allowed to keep it on the belt. But yes, fast. So you want to watch a 5-on-5 summer league game. I mean, they're all over the field. And one of the things that I'd like to see, especially with when the scores, no matter what it is, and a lot of the 8-man, and from doing these games, it's not 6-3 or 12-6. It's 70-56. Yeah, they rack up some points and they throw the ball all over. Luckily, Nick Cullen, that's the president for the small school 8s.
From Stearns.
We have 7 for the championship game. They have allowed us to do that because when you get to those levels, when Orono's playing Millinocket or whoever it is, I mean, my God, they throw the ball all over the field and you need 7 officials because you can't cover the area. No more do they, we were talking before on the air, do they run the ball up the middle like a John Riggins with the Washington Redskins.
Yeah.
But I have to put that plug in because that's my team.
Uh-oh.
But
not the Redskins anymore.
No, but I always
Legacy.
I've been down there for so long that's how I can. But they do now. Very rarely. I don't know what the percentages of throwing and passing, but I bet it's 80-20 or 75-25. They throw the ball all over the place. So
I mean, and actually, I know what Mark was getting to. In fact, high school football right now is in a good place. There are 79 varsity teams incorporating kids from more than 100 different schools in the state of Maine, and that is unheard of.
Yeah.
Because we got co-op teams now where multiple schools, and that was done because they needed to, because we are running out of kids in the state of Maine, and other sports are being affected by that, I would say, much more than football in a lot of respects.
And the good part is like we were talking, Orono, 4 years ago was on the deficit of maybe not having a program. They went back to small man 8, and what was it, 4 years later, they're state champions. I mean, you talk up the valley, talk to some of the kids during the timeout. There's some kids that travel from the Allagass there. Right. They have a 50-minute one-way ride just to practice. That's what I call dedication to a team like that. So, I mean, but that's all over, and thank God. But then there's teams that, like Bucksport, for instance, with Coach Gagan, his 5th and 6th grade program is so alive down there that you'll probably see by the time they get up, they'll be back in 11-man football. So that this 8-man for the large and small doesn't matter has saved the programs.
But even if they aren't back, to me, it's just like when a basketball team drops from Class A to Class B. It's horrid when it first happens, but as soon as there's a trophy at stake the next year in Class B, it doesn't matter anymore. And that's the same is true with football and 11-man and 8-man football.
Well, I think they take a look at the program and where it's going before they classify them, and I think they get the input from the coaches and the ADs and everything, and they said, what is the best fit that where they're going to put these, these teams
based on the numbers and
perspective numbers. And they also look at that, what do you have coming up? So, and that's been tremendous. And I'm hoping that we have more teams or whatever. But like I said, we have every day of the week. And that's why we need officials because, I mean, good God, I can't ask somebody, Gary Spencer, that's the junior high and JV assigner. I mean, we can't ask somebody to work 7 days a week. There's got to be a break, this family and your own life and stuff. But it's come to the point that we just need officials.
So there's
Plain and simple.
opportunity, and it's a relatively short time frame by which you would start to take the class, and you're actually working
it's
games.
It's really only 2 months, that the first 3 weeks, we'll start on the 13th with the veterans and stuff, go over some things, but the exhibition games will start on the 28th, and we'll go until the middle of November for the state games.
So that first introductory session is scheduled for August the 20th at the Cohen Middle School in Bangor.
You got it.
What time?
6 o'clock.
6
6 o'clock is all the time.
Show up and get the ball rolling, like you said.
Show up, and that's all you got to do. We'll take care of everything else for you. I think it's a great time, and it's a great learning, and we're not going to throw you, obviously, into a place that you shouldn't be. You'll start doing the little 4th and 5th grade games to get some mechanics down, and then, when you feel comfortable, and we do, we'll move you along in the right direction.
And there's a series of classes on consecutive Thursday nights.
All the way through to the end of October.
John Perry, the lead instructor on that one. Do you want to throw a number out there, a phone number, for if anybody has any questions,
sure.
or it's up to you?
No, go ahead. You can call me, of course, Tim Kenney. It's 207-659-3332. My email is burner, BURNER, 3665 at AOL.com. Probably I shouldn't put that out there now after Friday night games. I'll probably get a few messages, but that's okay. But that's what I'm here for. I've told our group, they were fortunate enough to put the responsibility on me, and I told them if the group fails, then it's on me. I said I'm here to promote football and to get it back where it's growing, evidently, but we need to get the officials in order to. I had to do it 2 years ago. I had to call and cancel a game and move it, and it broke my heart because if you ask any kid when he puts the pads on, whether he's in 3rd grade or a senior in high school, to him that's the most important game of the week. It isn't the NFL game on Sunday. That's the most important game to him. So.
And burner reflects your ability to get from one end of the field to the other.
Actually,
is that what that
if
is?
I can, Steve Martin, that was the announcer down there, nicknamed me that when I was playing for Brewer.
Okay,
so
there
it's
you
kind of
go.
stuck
Nice.
with me.
Got it from a good place, Steve Martin, a former professional announcer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tim Kenney, a signer for the Eastern Maine Football League, joining us here in the Greenway Equipment Studios. Well, Tim, it's been great to have you through and hear the case to be made for people to make extra cash coming up this fall.
And if you don't mind, can I just put one thing out for the Lobster Bowl this weekend?
Go
we
for
talked
it.
about, you put the name down. Being a member of the Shrine now, when I was able to do the game 2 years ago, you've got to see the backbone and behind the Shrine. But we have a gentleman from Bucksport that I'll let Ernie talk about that has broke records.
Yeah.
And I think it's just absolutely amazing that what this money goes to the 2 burn centers down in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
To me, that puts a whole perspective on football. So
Yeah, there's a fundraising element to the players playing in the
cheerleaders,
game.
that's right.
And the cheerleaders as well. And a couple of the leading, I haven't seen final results yet, but Dawson Sukforth from Bucksport. It's all graduating seniors that just
Correct.
graduated that are playing in the Lobster Bowl each year. It's in 30-something years now. It's kind
36,
of hard to
I
believe.
think.
Yeah, 36, I believe, yeah.
Dawson Sukforth of Bucksport and Logan Vigu of Madomic Valley down in Waldoboro, each of whom have raised more than $12,000 apiece, well over $12,000 apiece, to kind of lead the cause there.
And I believe the Bucksport kid is, when I got the numbers just the other day, he's raised over $13,000.
Okay, so it's up to 13.
He's the number one.
And that actually, either one eclipsed the previous record.
Yes, they broke the record.
There's a kid, last name was Beam, played for Dexter back in the late 20-teens there. But they take it seriously in terms of not only getting, for a lot of them, a final opportunity to play football, but a chance to see what it goes for.
If you go to that center in that hospital and you see what this money does, and it blows your mind.
Yeah.
I mean, what it does. The kids don't understand until you see this, but what that Lobster Bowl does and promotes is absolutely fantastic.
Lobster Bowl is Saturday afternoon.
4 o'clock kickoff from
at
Lewiston.
Don Rue Field at Lewiston High School. So it's also going to be on Maine Public Television this year for the first time.
And they've got some major sponsors too to help them.
That's good.
So it's been good. So
Very
thanks
nice.
guys for having me, and I really appreciate it. And thanks for all your time and everything that you do for Eastern Maine football, because I know everything involved put together just makes this a better place to live and to to be here in Eastern Maine.
Absolutely. He's Tim Kenney, the assigner for the Eastern Maine Football League, joining us here on The Drive. We'll take a timeout. Coming up on the other side of it, we'll sneak in a Sports Center weather forecast and wrap up this first hour of the show right after this. Very political answer there from JT, covering all the grounds there, but I think it might just be that he's a very corporate guy with his responses.
That's what I was going to call him, corporate Jayson Tatum. And that's okay. I mean, it doesn't matter that we know or don't know how well they got along. The fact is they won together, won a championship together. But you could tell over the last couple of years that, they weren't like best buddies. I mean, Brown saying that this last year was his favorite season
with him out of
without
the picture.
him out, and I'm sure he didn't. I don't know how much he gave him a hard time about it, but Brown's the one with the all the MVPs.
Yep.
In terms of the playoffs, at least championship series back in 2024. It kind of doesn't matter. I'm sure they got along to get along. I mean, they're fellow employees. Now, if it was no more than that, so what?
They made it work. A couple of $300 million guys side by side winning a championship.
You'd like to think that they could have won another one or two.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like they underachieved. Much like I kind of feel like the whole Garnett, Pierce, Allen trio.
One title.
They only won one too. They had a chance at another one. Like the Celtics like the most modern Celtics had a chance at another one. Just didn't get done. Tells you how hard it is to do it. I guess the good news for Tatum is when it comes time for his contract to be renegotiated, they won't be able to say, well, we're paying the other guy $75 million, so you can't have it. You can't have yours.
There's no other 35% hold on the cap.
So he's just got a guarantee on his super max, which at that point will be, what is it, a year or two? Couple of years, maybe?
Yeah, so if Brown was eligible to sign this summer, I would imagine Tatum would be able to sign his next summer.
Nobody said anything about that yet.
But it doesn't take effect until like 2 more years after the fact.
So by that time, he'd be making, who knows?
70 75
million.
Yeah, it's going to be silly money soon.
Yeah, it's, I mean, as you hear more about that, it kind of adds to the notion that maybe you can't get by with two guys making $75 million apiece. At the same time, it's I'd
rather spend money than save money.
Well, that's
not my money.
I don't care as long as they win.
Yep. That will do it for the first half of today's show. We got the Drive at 5 coming up next, and we begin it with a guest. We'll be checking in with Chris Hatfield from SoxProspects.com, taking a look ahead at the trade deadline, taking a look down at the state of the minors who could be used there if the Red Sox are looking to bolster their squad, coming up in a few weeks' time. Don't go anywhere. You're locked into Maine Sports Leader, 92.9 The Ticket, WEZQ Bangor.